There he is checking in. Ben. Good morning, Ben. Sherry, Derek. Jets lost last night. They look bad. The NFL primetime games are rigged, by the way, for Vegas. I'm just going to let everybody know that if they didn't know it already.
Yeah, I think most people know they're rigged.
And it's a good time to be a Chiefs fan, too, because if you're in bed, no pun intended, with Taylor Swift, that means you're in bed with the NFL.
Correct.
Correct. That means you're going to be taken care of.
You are.
In prime time games. I know Chief fans, you're in a good spot.
Yep. No lie.
Now, if they break up, you're not going to get any calls anymore. Sorry, Chiefs.
That's right. Could you imagine the breakup song, though? Like that one? That'd be good. I'm hoping they don't break up. Most people don't care, but I think it's kind of cute.
But you do realize it's like 0.1% out of all the relationships, even if that of the relationships that start end in a breakup, they don't end in a marriage.
Yeah.
Or a long relationship.
And that's so hard for me to relate to.
It's kind of like the same thing with certain massive jobs. I heard a coach once say, the day I was hired for that football coaching job, I knew I would be fired.
Yeah. I believe that.
Because there were only a handful of coaches in the history of college football that retired on their own.
Right.
So when you accept a job, you know you're going to get fired at some point. So you have to think about that.
You got to think, I'm going to be fired.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you work knowing you're going to get fired at some point.
At some point.
So you get while the getting's good.
Get while the getting's good.
Got to give a little to get a little.
Yeah, you do.
Those are some other sayings.
Yes.
Faust, women have ruined more good athletes than bad knees.
There's some truth to that. And then there's some truth that the women completely support the man. And
that's 1%. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, it could be. It could be.
Faust, I see those ladies over there at their locker. You know, women ruin more good athletes than bad knees. Stay away.
Oh.
The bad news, Faust.
Bad news.
Yes, I got bad advice.
Yeah, you did get bad advice. You got bad advice.
Faust. This is the show before the show. Relationship advice. Right here.
By Victor Faust.
I don't hear any truth bombs being dropped by Pro Joe right now.
What do you think about that, Pro Joe? What do you think about it?
I'm still in here setting up.
He's not going to comment. There's no comment there.
My knees are good.
Your knees are good.
I got bad knees.
Oh.
Good morning, Patriots. Nah, when that relationship ends, there won't be any. There's not going to be a song about him. I'm going to go off.
There is so going to be a song.
I'm saying there's not going to be.
It'll be a hit immediately.
Yeah, I
know that's where everybody says I'm going to go where the puck isn't. Everybody's following the puck with that relationship. I'm going to go where the puck isn't because everybody will be expecting a song.
Yeah.
And then she'll release something that isn't the song to get everybody psyched up.
She'll release like 5 songs that could be the song.
Bingo.
Yes, I agree with that. There'll be several songs. She's going to get at least 5 songs out of this dating relationship. Football songs, big hunky songs, all this kind of stuff. Yeah, she's going to make bank when they break up. And he's going to be crying.
He's like the Kevin Federline of this situation.
Yeah, he is. He actually really is. Yeah. Yep.
Many people don't even remember who that is. I guarantee it.
Yeah, people are going, what are they talking about? Greg is saying he's looking forward to the Taylor Swift breakup song.
I don't get it.
I'm not really sure either. I thought there was some significance to it.
Don't give him any airtime. That dude's a lunatic.
Yeah, that Greg. Do you know what? You know what Greg said his grandma said?
You're supposed to be laughing, dude.
You know why he said that? He told me that his grandma, when you and I were dishing him, and like on air, and he said,
which time?
I don't know, but it was the time we were really doing it really bad.
It was a lot of fun.
It was so much fun. He said his grandma listens to our show and she might not be able to listen to it anymore because we were so mean to La Rock.
I don't even remember when we were mean to him.
We're never mean.
Was this the public stuff or the private stuff? Oh, it wasn't the private. It was the public stuff.
We were publicly dissing La Rock.
Okay.
And I was like, did you tell your grandma it's all in fun? He goes, no. Or maybe he did. Maybe he did. He might have said it was all in fun. I don't know. But.
Yeah, she just doesn't know that when he actually came in, we would put him in the supply closet and just yell obscenities at him through the door.
That's right. So, Greg, if your grandma's listening, admit to her what we did to you. We put you in the supply closet, we yelled at you and threw you a bone. It's Tuesday morning. It's not even a Friday.
What's up?
I can't even look right now at Pro Joe. He makes me laugh. Probably people think, because we're always cutting up before the show, that we actually do any work. And we do. I mean, we do research for hours after the show.
Yeah, there's some days where I feel great about where the show's going to go that day.
Yeah.
And then it may go that way. I'm not feeling so great about today.
I am.
Good. I needed that but then my point was, then sometimes you don't think it's going to be good and then it is good.
That is true too. There's a many days we're like, what and how in the heck is the show going to go? And by the time we're done, we're like, now that was good.
Like with Greg, I thought everything was going to be great with Greg, and then it went the opposite way.
Right.
Now with Joe, I didn't think it was going to go that great, and it's been amazing.
There you go. Good point.
Greg, I'm done. Greg, I'm done teasing.
Greg knows
you know you're part of us.
Yeah, Greg does. Greg knows it.
Oh, and I think it was yesterday I called him intern Greg on the air. I called him listener Greg on the air.
Oh,
it's intern Greg.
Intern Greg.
He just said it was the Bigfoot show. That's funny.
The Bigfoot show. That's right. Okay, Greg. And it was his 80-year-old aunt, not his grandma. And see, and he even says, love you all.
That's different. We want grandmas, aunts, it's.
Yeah, the aunts don't get as much credit. Now, if it's grandma, we do not want to offend grandma. But the aunt, I don't know.
If you guys want to cover anything today, let us know. Also, if you guys are doing study on a certain topic, or something that has been extremely interesting to you, something that's affected you, your family, whatever, let us know. We'll get you on.
We want to hear about it.
Vic at canceltheshow.com, Lizzie at canceltheshow.com. And we'll send you the video link to join us. And then we can take it from there. Okay. So if you guys have any story ideas and things you want to talk about today, just let us know. Who's the shroom lady? Is that you?
I'm not the shroom lady.
No, we had a shroom lady, and remember, I think it was somebody Alex booked.
Oh, it was somebody that Alex booked.
Alex books the wildest.
He does.
Oh, yeah. I remember her now.
Remember her?
I was getting her confused with Lily Nova. No. For whatever reason, they named themselves Nova. Correct. You have to have Nova in there.
And those were both.
There's something about doing shrooms and the intergalactic people that are out there. I just thought it was amazing that Lily Nova, it's like, where do you go to have this contact with aliens? She goes, I go to Highway 364.
I never saw any aliens on that highway.
Was it a lake or a pond or a creek, something near 364? I thought she said that she would go to.
Yeah.
And that's where the spirit world not the spirit world. That's where the aliens would contact her.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she said every time she
somewhere on 364.
Yeah, every
right?
time she meditated, her ears would ring.
Yeah, and Eric was going to go out and meet her. He said that my ears ring too. He's like, oh, but that could be from the music.
That would have been really fun to have watched Eric with her. That would have been a hoot. We need to set that up.
Okay. Yeah, up off 370.
Oh, 370. Okay. Up off of 370.
Got to get a little. Look up at the TV and I see Joe Biden stumbling on.
We're watching Real America's Voice over there, and they're showing all kinds of video that we've already shown.
They've got a compilation of all of Joe's falls, and the headline is "Just in Case Scenarios which we'll tell you about one because one's being talked about nationally again that we talked about yesterday. Yes. We always try to be ahead, and I know people made fun of me when I said it months and months and months and months ago, but
yeah.
All right. Let's go ahead and start, Pro Joe. And welcome into cancelthisshow.com. I'm Vic Faust with Lizzie Sparks and Projo. This is cancelthisshow.com. Appreciate everybody jumping in with us today. It is November 7th. It is a Tuesday. Time for our live cast, our podcast. You know what we do Monday through Friday, 8 to 10 a.m. Central and all the time. On our website, cancelthisshow.com. News headlines, politics, business, cancel culture, education, and Fridays we get a little wild and have a little fun. With that being said, you can always check out our website, cancelthisshow.com. You can check out our merchandise. It's right there on the website as well. We are grateful for that. We've also got a couple new sponsors that we'll get into in just a little bit as well. And, of course, if you have ideas, story ideas, anything from that standpoint, let us know, and we'll certainly get that going, rocking, and rolling. By the way, we'll get into this in just a second, but a couple new advertisers today that we're going to jump in with and let you know about. Tomorrow, we're packed too. Tomorrow with Solar STL, we're going to have them in tomorrow. We've got Kathy Hill Big Strict. We've got Route 66. We are packed with all kinds of guests tomorrow. A company called WeQuip out of O'Fallon. We're going to be showing you some of the things that they can do as well. You won't want to miss that. Plus, we are always looking for new partners, new ideas, things that we can do to promote people, and we'll get all of that done. Okay, Lizzie, what are you feeling like today? Because I have to say this right out of the get-go.
Yeah.
I don't want to get caught up in this, but because we've talked about it a lot. National shows, 2 of them yesterday. What are the chances that Michelle Obama can, quote, continue Barack Obama's legacy?
Mm-hmm.
It's become a national story.
Yeah, it has.
All of a sudden, here we go. The possibilities of Michelle Obama running for office. Mm-hmm. We all know it's not going to be Joe Biden. It's clear. They've been softening the blow for Democrats for a while now. It's not going to be Joe Biden. There's no way. It's not going to be Joe.
No.
Who is it going to be? And then all of a sudden, I know there were people who made fun of me for saying Michelle. I know they said that she doesn't want it, and maybe she doesn't. I just don't see who else the Democrats are going to run. They can't run Gavin Newsom. He does not have the appeal. He doesn't. Who has the appeal?
Mm-hmm. Michael.
Who's going to win female voters over?
Yeah. Michael.
For the Democrats.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Interesting. Donald Trump came out and said, why would anybody endorse Ron DeSanctimonious? Because he's gotten a couple endorsements. There is a debate that's coming up between 5 of the candidates. It's going to be a third debate. The ratings are going to be extremely low, as they have been, unfortunately, because if Donald Trump isn't there, nobody really watches. Now, I'm not trying to disrespect people who like any of those candidates. I mean, in the general sense that you're not going to just have the ratings. You're not. You'll have DeSantis. They're going to square off. That's a debate tomorrow night. It's in Miami. So it's in DeSantis's backyard. Nikki Haley will be there. Ramaswamy will be there. I mean, Chris Christie's still there. It's like, give me a break. That guy, he is a POS. He really is. And there's nothing kind about him. There's nothing good about him. There's nothing positive about him. I think he's only there to try to bring up Trump stuff. And they know his role. And he'll get paid handsomely for it by somebody who doesn't want Trump. Tim Scott, the 5th, will be at that debate tomorrow night. Does anybody really care?
No.
I mean, in the grand scheme of things, I mean, does it matter? No, it doesn't, unfortunately. I wish it did. But once again, Donald Trump's got his debate in federal court. It pisses me off to see what this judge, Moron, that's what I refer to him as, and what he's doing. And everybody knows he's a partisan judge and he doesn't care. And he's making a mockery of his court. You're not going to put Donald Trump in his place. You're not going to bring up frivolous charges against him, put a gag order on him. Then the woman responsible, Letitia, the New York Attorney General, is allowed to go before court and start speaking about Trump, but then Trump's not allowed to say anything about her. The whole situation is bad. And then when you look at Donald Trump sitting in court yesterday, it just makes me wonder what the hell is going on in this country. Joe, you can show that video we're talking about Trump. He's in court yesterday, sitting there. Our president, Trump, sitting there, literally just waiting to think what's really happening in America. Now, Americans, we get conditioned very easily just to think, oh, that's normal. Look at this is not normal. Nothing about this is normal. Nothing about this is good. Nothing about this is productive. Could you imagine Obama sitting there?
No. Oh my gosh. Could you imagine the protests and the riots and the
Clinton, Bush, all of this stuff?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they could have done it to Bush. Even though Bush is one of them, it would have been fine.
I mean,
Bush.
This man, who is arguably the greatest president we've ever had, by fact, by what was accomplished, by what was actually happening, being brought up in charges because he wants to run for president.
Correct.
And once again, I agree. Letitia only shows up when there's cameras there. Mm-hmm. She is not a good person, and we know that because of her actions. And once again, there's no jury. This is all the judge. Mm-hmm. What do you think's going to happen? What do you think's going to happen with this case?
I think they will try to convict him.
Of course,
they're going to. Now he'll appeal and win the appeal, but with her, he's going to be convicted.
Trump spoke afterwards yesterday, and by the way, he did not sit back. He and the judge went at it tit for tat yesterday in court. This is all entertainment. Once again, here's Donald Trump talking yesterday about this whole goofball stuff that's going on.
Today? I am. So while Israel is being attacked, while Ukraine is being attacked, while inflation is eating our country alive, I'm down here, and these are all political opponent attack ads by the Biden administration. Their poll numbers are terrible. You saw what happened today. The New York Times and CBS came out with a poll that I'm leading all over the place, but it's a very unfair situation. This is really election interference. That's all it is. This trial is ridiculous. The numbers are much greater than on the financial statement. And we've already proven that. They said Mar-a-Lago's worth $18 million. Mar-a-Lago's worth anywhere from probably 50 to 100 times more than that. And it's a terrible, terrible thing. These are political operatives that I'm going to be dealing with right now. You have a racist attorney general who made some terrible statements, and you'll see some more that came over the wires today. It's a very sad situation for our country. We shouldn't have this. This is for third world countries, and it's very unfair. It's very unfair. But in the meantime, the people of the country understand it, they see it, and they don't like it. They don't like it because it's political warfare, as you would call it, or political lawfare. Another name, I got a lot of names for it, but usually it takes place in third world countries and banana republics. Nobody's ever seen that to this extent. We've never seen it here. But we will go along, and we will hopefully do very well in every regard, and we'll win the election, and we'll make America great again. That's what we're going to do. We're going to make America great again. But we have to take away from the thugs that we deal with and the horrible people that actually must hate our country to do this. But we will we'll fight very hard for our country. Thank you very much, everybody.
So there's Donald Trump talking. There's no doubt Letitia Adams is one of those political thugs, and she is. She is a political thug. Mm-hmm. And the best part was Trump's attorney, Alina Habba, said that Letitia's just not that bright.
Yep, good for her. Good for her.
She doesn't look smart. She isn't smart. Just the way she presents herself, she's not smart. I don't know who's writing her speeches. Maybe nobody, but it's bad. I mean, I'm sorry that it just casts bad light upon the citizens of New York who voted her in. And I know, well, we've always been Democrats, so we have to do this. No, you don't.
You don't.
This is, and anybody that has half a brain and spends half a day looking at the evidence of what's going on, they'll quickly see that this is all a sham. And of course, if you didn't know already, it's the judge who decided against a jury trial. This is all done on purpose. It's all done to try to take Donald Trump away. So that was Donald Trump talking. Now, I'm not going to give Letitia any airtime, but we'll certainly give Alina airtime because she makes sense. Here's Trump's attorney talking about what's happening in New York right now. And I really like this lady.
Me too.
Nothing but her Soros backing, which we discovered recently. And I am sick and tired of seeing it. Pay attention, America. Pay attention. Because when you're in court one of these days and you don't have a lawyer that has a microphone and you don't have a lawyer that can go on TV and you've got judges gagging them, what are you going to do? We need to fix this country. And we need to stop what is happening in this courtroom. President Trump is worth a lot more, and she wasn't ready for it. She doesn't understand it. And before she rushed to judgment, she should have thought about attacking somebody with over 50 years of real estate expertise who changed single-handedly the skyline of New York City. She picked the wrong person, and her politics will fail for it.
Bam.
Good for her. I love her. She's so smart.
Yeah, she's a beautiful badass, huh?
Yeah, she is a beautiful badass. She's beautiful. She's smart. She's a badass. She's great.
I'm just glad. Of course, she's on Trump's side.
Of course she is.
I just laugh. I'm sorry, Democrats, where are you? Jump in. Let us know. I mean, everybody agrees with us, I guess, right? Where is everybody that disagrees? Let us know. We would love to hear it. There's nothing that's happening on the Democratic side. That's the thing, is that America knows. Democrats know Biden's not running. They know he's not their choice.
They do.
And all of this crap is going on just to try to defeat Trump. And then you get caught up in the game because I'm sorry, a great deal of America is just flat out dumb.
They really are.
Because we've been conditioned. We're comfortable. Things are easy. Everything's going to be fine. The media tells us what we need to know. Oh, we're not going to worry about everything. And then before you know it, everything has changed. And you're like, what happened? And then you're stunned looking there like, what? What the hell? Our country is changing. Alina also said our country is changing for the bad.
It is changing for the bad. I mean, we've all been sitting around fat and happy and thinking the country's just so great. And it has completely been dismantled in 3 years. Completely.
I'm told that Alina is from Summit, New Jersey. I don't know what that means, but we'll give Summit, New Jersey
That's probably
a shout
why she's
out.
a badass, is because she's from New Jersey. And so she's pretty. She's from New Jersey. She just brings it. She's great.
Sherry says the media is so corrupt covering stories for Biden. I know it makes me sick. And I used to tell about it. And it was when I did local news, it drove me crazy. And I've talked about those stories before. It's just like, oh my God. Oh my God. It's like everybody that's liberal rushes to go to news because you rush to where you can get the message out.
Yeah.
You rush to where you can have some power. And that's why hopefully we pray that people stop watching the crap unless it turns good. And it turns to where it's actually honest.
Correct.
And unfortunately, a lot of times things can be bought and paid for, which is not a good thing.
Well, our media is bought and paid for. It is. All of it. It's government run.
Dementia Joe is going to force the DNC's hand because he won't willingly step down by ego alone. Well, yeah. And when you can't decipher situations, I mean, he doesn't know. We know that Joe doesn't know.
He doesn't even know. It's his handlers won't let him.
And of course, we got this whole situation going on now with Trump. So in the meantime, what's happening? People are starting to talk about, what about this Michelle Obama? Because we're trying to be one step ahead. Who is going to run if it's not Joe Biden? Gavin can't really. I know he's already made his trip to China. I know he's checking all the boxes, dotting his I's, crossing his T's, planning on being the next candidate. But really, is that who Democrats want?
I think Democrats would vote for him. I do. I think they'd be anybody's better than Biden. Anybody. And people vote on looks, and he's better looking. I think a lot of people will vote for him if they're a Democrat.
And if you're a Democrat, do you really agree with what the White House is doing on top of everything right now? Because we've got a situation that's going on where Kamala Harris came out and started tweeting yesterday an anti-Islamophobia campaign right now in the midst of the Hamas invasion, their attack on Israel, and Israel's response. And once again, I had two friends of mine posting a bunch of crap yesterday, and I'm sorry if you watch this show, and I'm calling it crap when you're saying we need to just stop. We're hurting women and kids in Gaza right now. Israel needs to just stop this, and let's go back and talk about things. I wanted to jump through the freaking Instagram and say, brother, I know you have half a brain like I do. Really?
They're probably
You're letting your Iranian heritage, your Lebanese heritage take over your brain.
That's right. It's their heritage, and they're watching too much MSNBC.
And yesterday, literally, Hamas went on national TV yesterday and said that their whole mission was to erase Israel on the same day, the same freaking day that Hamas came out on national television and said, we want to wipe away Israel. You have a tone-deaf vice president. Of course, I'm sorry, she's not very educated when it comes to how to speak to people. That's why I think it's done on purpose. She accomplished a lot in her life, attained some high positions, and it wasn't all just for being on her knees. She had to be able to do some other work besides being on her knees. You know those stories. So I know she has half a brain. The problem is I think this is all done on purpose. I don't think it's her being tone deaf. It is legitimately done on purpose because the marching orders come from Barack and people go, oh, Vic's crazy. Blah, 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 blah. He's a conspiracy theorist. She's getting her marching orders from somebody because nobody in their right mind on a day that Hamas says about wiping Israel off the map says, we need to have an anti-Islamophobia campaign right now because, we need to worry about Muslims. Yeah, you worry about everybody. They just want to forget that October 7th never happened, that there's over 200 hostages, Americans dead, and American hostages. Let's forget about them. Where is her plea for the hostages? Where's her tweeting for that? Democrats can't be for this. Come on. Are all Democrats stupid, or are they intentionally ignoring the truth and intentionally trying to push another narrative?
Well, Democrats.
I'm just asking.
Okay, well, this is my opinion on this. This is Democrats right now. They have either white guilt or they hate white people. This whole thing that is going on with Hamas and the Palestinians here in the United States is just more white hate. That's what it is. They're conditioned to, if they're white, they're conditioned to have guilt and they feel that they have privilege. And these Jewish people are white. And it really does. If you really look down and research what it is, it's the breaking down again of the white race. You may not be Jewish. They might be Jewish, but it's still a lot more white hate. And look at the people that are spewing all of this hate now for Jewish people. It's either far left, brainwashed Democrats, or they're people that have white guilt that they know they've been racist before. So now they've got this white guilt, or they're people that want to wipe out the white race. Period. That's what it is. And the mainstream media, it's just all part and parcel of everything that's been going on. It's all the same thing. But like I said yesterday, this is a little scarier than the Black Lives Matters and all of that. That was stuff, it was propaganda. Now, this is still part of the same propaganda, but you're going to see more and more and more Jewish people hurt. And then it's not going to just be Jewish. It's just going to be people that have had, support for Jewish people. There's going to be real violence.
Well, yeah, you see the man that died.
Yes.
Of course.
Yes.
At an older Israeli man that got into a confrontation. That's why you can't get into a confrontation or be physical.
But did you hear what the media acted like? The media act like it, he just barely had this little confrontation. It was murder. That's not what the media says. The media doesn't say it's murder.
That's why I say be careful about watching news of any kind.
Yes.
Just be careful.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
and make sure your friends and family are not watching news too.
Correct. Turn it off.
To be a Democrat right now, you have to just be blindly following the mainstream narrative and not thinking for yourself at all.
And by the way, Donna says those student protesters yesterday should have their visas taken away.
I agree. 100%.
And that from the Boeing situation, which we were focused on, and news organizations. I didn't watch, but I did see some things from websites. There were stories that were done, and they did cover it a little bit. And just trying to bring some light to it. I'm curious, is it worse to be, I guess, aware of everything that's going on and just say, oh, it's fine, whatever, and not say anything or not try to shed a light on the way that this country is going downhill and what's happening in Israel? Or is it better, or is it worse to be these people and say, I don't want to know anything about it. I just want to go on with my life? Because I have a lot of people like that I know in my life. I don't want to know. I don't want to talk politics. I don't want to talk religion.
Same here.
What do you mean same here?
I have the same issue. I have a lot of people in my life that are just like, oh, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to.
I just want to. But here's the thing. I get not wanting to hear it. But are you going to do any research to help this country? Or are you just going to be a sponge that sucks up everything around you? Or just goes, yeah, whatever. I'm just, whatever.
The mentality is that they just...
Life is life.
All this has happened before. So all they have to do is just keep ignoring it, and life will just go on like it always does. This is nothing new. This is nothing different. This is all the same.
I'm hearing people exactly in my life that I know saying exactly what you're saying, Joe, that this is history repeating itself, but it's not going to affect me. As long as I stay out of it, it's no big deal. I've got a decent job. Okay, I have to pay a little bit more for groceries.
Don't rock the boat.
But yeah, it's no big deal. That is actually tragic, because this is different. This is different in our modern times, that you can't, like Boeing, there was no arrest yesterday, and they go to work and they can't work. Now, I'm sure there's a lot of people like, oh, good, I get a day off. But it's a much bigger thing than that. They're emboldened all the time. And like our listeners are saying, these people that are here on a visa should get the hell out of here. We can't go to Pakistan and do that. We can't go to Mexico and do that. We can't even go to Canada and act like some American asshole. But these people can come over here and act like some Middle Eastern asshole and get by with it. And we have them here, and they're not even an American citizen. They need to go.
Well, there's rights that come with citizenship.
But some of these aren't citizenships. They're just here on a visa.
Yeah, but there's rights. Meaning there's responsibilities when you're here on a visa.
Exactly.
They should be pulled. They should be sent back.
I agree. Bye-bye.
That's the bad thing. Brendan says this whole Israel conflict literally happens every 4 years, along with mass school shootings and soon to come some police brutality to distract and divide. Great point. It happens over and over again. And that's because there is a deep state. And that's not us saying, ooh, once again, that's Donald Trump saying it. There is definitely a deep state. And if you respect what Donald Trump did for this country, and he proved what he could do, then you have to believe that he knows about the deep state that's going after him, that's eventually trying to take us over, as we know, and it all gets back to a world order of some kind. Even Joe Biden slipped up and said it, because we know he's not a bright individual, and we know he doesn't have a grasp of concepts, and just like crap just comes out of his mouth at certain times, unfortunately, like the old person that we take care of in our family. And when, we start to lose faculties, because it can happen to all of us, that's who he is. So he's already told us, there is a deep state. There is a new world order out there. There are people trying to take away this country. And of course, we already knew the only way to take down this country, it would not be from attacks outside. It would have to come from within. And of course, you open up the borders, and then you start to have the infiltration that comes into this country, and then you take over government. Then you control elections, and you have your banana republic. And then all of a sudden you're like, what the hell happened? Well, everybody was very comfortable with their video gaming and the restaurants and the bars and all of our sports for our kids. And we're just like, oh, we're so busy and we're happy, and this is going to be here forever. And we don't need God anymore. We're too busy to have a relationship with God. And, we don't want to do that. God means this to me. God means that to me. I have my own God. And it's like, before you know it, it's like, what? We just become like the Roman Empire. And sooner rather than later, something bad is going to happen.
That's exactly what's happening to us, is everybody wants their own truth, not God's truth. Everybody has their own truth. Well, everybody was raised differently or has different circumstances. So your own truth is what brings down the empire.
And we were just finishing up this talk. Yes, we're going to get into the transgender killer manifesto, which gets into the media again, because once again, it's like, oh, the media did what they did. And it's interesting what happens when these shootings happen. And we'll get into it. I was just trying to finish up this, where we are right now in America with what's going on with the Trump situation. And by the way, Russia and China continue to have conversations. Mm-hmm. And while China may not like Russia and vice versa, they are joined at the hip when it comes to the next situation of moving forward, destroying this country, and then finding and picking up the pieces as best as they can to come after us. I just get frustrated with the whole situation. Well, yeah, Greg says religion is man-made, but then you have to break down what religion is. That's an easy quote to say, religion is man-made, but what does it actually mean? Faith is what brings us closer to God. Yes, but what is faith? Mm-hmm. I mean,
it's faith in God. But it's scriptural.
There's a lot, and not to make it a Christian show today, but that's a topic that you have to break down.
Correct.
Let's just, well, here, this is cancelthisshow.com. Once again, cancelthisshow.com. I'm grateful that we have the sponsors and the advertisers that we do, starting with Complete Auto Body Repair. Once again, Complete Auto Body Repair, 7 locations throughout the St. Louis metropolitan area. Everything with your car from A to Z, they will take care of you. You just let them know that you heard about them on cancelthisshow.com. Anything and everything that's going on with your vehicle, you can get help there. They'll take care of you from that standpoint. Also, they're always looking for jobs. You can contact Sandy Travis at completeab.com. Once again, completeab.com. Also, Kathy Hill Big Strict, Steve Strict, Experience Realty, expect to be moved, 314-276-SOLD, 314-276-SOLD. The real estate market is a mess. They're honest about it. They talk about it. If you're buying, selling, just want some advice, give the team a call. Tell them you listened to her and have heard her on Cancel This. They'll take special care of you. And once again, you have no, and I repeat, no strings attached. Just give them a call and you can talk to them. Route 66 Cannabis. Ham comes in every Wednesday, educates us on the Ostera products, as well as what you can have at Route 66, 5 locations throughout the St. Louis metropolitan area as well, teaching you how you can improve your life from cannabis and get away from pharma drugs and things of that nature. Also, new sponsor, they'll be in tomorrow, Solar City STL. Once again, Solar City STL, making renewable energy part of your life, letting the heavy lifting be done by them. They do. And the other thing about this, when it comes to solar, they do their own installations, which is a big deal as well. We've had some good conversations about solar. Is it good? Is it bad? I mean, all of those things. They're going to be in tomorrow to break those things down with questions, people supporting, people not. If you have any questions, they will take care of that. Strategic Air Services, premier private transportation providers in all things aviation, from aircraft management to concierge services, and of course, acquisition. They're always looking for pilots as well right now. You can give them a call at 636-400. 7601, or you can go to their website, which is strategicairservices.net. And by the way, you can always go to cancelthisshow.com and check out our partners. Check out our partners page. And if you use them, let them know that you can hear them or you appreciate them teaming up with cancelthisshow.com. And also a new sponsor, please, people, check them out. WeQuip. That's WEQUIP, WeQuip. They're a peer-to-peer, person-to-person rental marketplace where renters can just go and search for items that they might need that their neighbors might have. You know, just little things throughout the year. It's a really cool store, and we're going to be showing you some pictures. You can post an item. You can go in and see what they have. I just love this concept. They're in O'Fallon, Missouri, and we love our local companies, especially that get behind us. But check out WeQuip, and when you go there, if you do some business, let them know that you heard about them on cancelthisshow.com. WeQuip, once again, WeQuip, and when you go to WeQuip, you can go through our website, cancelthisshow.com. and then click on the buttons that we have there. That way they can track it back to us where we go there. So we appreciate all of our advertisers. If you guys know of anybody else that would love to be a sponsor, you can donate to what we do, or all donations led. Go to our website, canceltheshow.com. Okay. Chris says it's being reported that YT, you know what that stands for,
we do,
has removed Crowder's episode reporting the truth about the Manifesto.
Yeah, it's hard to find.
Or some people are calling the Tranifesto.
Correct.
Now, what this is regarding is to the Covenant shooting that took place in Nashville. Was that back in May?
Yeah. Yes, it was actually. It was in May. Well, no, it was in March. It was March 27th.
I'm sorry, I meant March
27th.
That happened. And of course, that was the young woman pretending to be a man or pretending to be a boy, who went in and just shot kids at a school. Well, now the Manifesto, it's been released.
Yeah.
And thank God. And if there was ever a case for a planned shooting and who they were coming after, we have it now.
Yes.
White privilege crackers, Christians, is who this person was going after to try to attack.
And there's actually, Projo has like 3 pages of it that I found on, Louder for Crowder. And you can still see that, but you can't see the whole show, is from what I understand. But if you look at these real close, you can see what she did. She was literally calling the kids white privileged. Her big focus was on affluent kids going to fancy private schools. And you can tell that she was just brainwashed by left-wing wackadoo media or people or whatever, because she was talking about, societal equality. And she's white, and she was calling people white little crackers. And this is interesting that I thought, for her being a transgender. So I don't know if she was gay or what, but she was calling all the people that she wanted to kill little white private faggots.
Yeah, 3 little 9-year-old kids were killed by this transgender person who was suffering mental issues, and trying to be counseled by the pastor, of that school / church, and she didn't care. She just went. She shot a school custodian, a substitute teacher, all of these people that are going through. I'm just glad that we got to see the Manifesto of what she was trying to do.
Yes.
And why the media covered it up.
Right. And
they didn't want you to know that a transgender person with mental issues had problems, and that Christians and white people were being targeted, attacked, and murdered.
Yes. They hid that. White people. It was purposely in there. She literally listed as her death day, and she had this whole disturbing planned outline. And she even said that it could take in between 3 and 7 minutes, and she wanted a very high death toll, and that's all in there. And it's
want to kill all you little crackers. By the way, she's white too.
Yeah, she was white.
Just to let you know.
And she was calling people faggots, and she was transgender. So I don't know if she was gay or what, because I'm not even sure that that's clear.
Well, the people that do these shootings, they clearly have mental illness.
Oh, clearly. Yeah.
Hey, Lizzie, I definitely, the F word. Well, I think we could probably get like a strike or something.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I didn't even think that would be. I'm just reading what she said.
Right.
Yeah.
What she went on to say was, want to kill all you little crackers.
Yeah.
With your white privileges. And she was a white cracker.
Yeah.
Who went to the school at one point in time too.
Yes, she did. And she apparently, my assumption is that she must have hated all these kids because it was just not equal. I don't know if she came from a poor family and a lot of these kids didn't. And so she became jealous. And then she had to have been brainwashed because one of the things that she wrote was all this societal equality and equity, and all those terminologies was written in there.
And the other thing about this is, when this happened, this horrible tragedy happened, here we go. The media, TV, newspapers, radio across the country, they didn't focus on this being a young woman with mental issues. they focused on guns.
Yeah.
Gun control.
Mm-hmm.
We all know that people who are mentally ill, mentally unfit, will do whatever necessary to accomplish their goals to hurt people. It doesn't matter if they have a gun or not. And once again, it became guns bad.
Mm-hmm.
Not her. Guns bad. Get rid of them. Get rid of them.
Yeah.
It was another situation where media runs and jumps to that situation instead of telling the truth. And once again, all the millions of legal gun owners who do nothing wrong, who are mentally fit, we're going to try to punish millions of gun owners because you guys are doing everything as you should be because of a few mentally ill people.
Well, you know, it's interesting. When I was really researching this school, you can see evidence of the fact that it was probably a liberal Christian school, which is an oxymoron, because if you're a Christian school, you need to have biblical principles. But that being said, the school lawyers didn't want this to be released. And when I was like, why wouldn't they? And they said because they felt that it would target more people, maybe by the transgender community. But when I really researched it, some of the things in their curriculum was really critical race theory and social justice. And so isn't that interesting? The irony of all of this, they had critical race theory, which makes white people have white guilt. I mean, this whole thing, they've got to stop it. That just proves right here in a Christian school had white guilt taught, and it came back to bite him in the butt.
Okay. I
mean, that doesn't make sense.
No, it doesn't. Neither does some of the, let's just call it FB. We had somebody who wrote that said FB wanted one of our viewers to delete the word manifesto. What?
Well, yeah, I don't know what they're talking about on the chat line, but there was talk that they didn't want the word manifesto said because it made it sound like it was more critical than it really is. How can this be?
What do you call it? We're just trying to get to the bottom of this stuff.
Yeah, right. I don't know. Okay, so what you can call it is what she called it herself. And what she called it herself is her death day planned timeline.
Oh, my God.
That's literally what she wrote on the piece of paper.
Okay, there's another issue on this too, Lizzie. Outside of the fact of the media doing what they do and how you can't trust local media or national media when it comes to these stories. Unfortunately, you couldn't even in Nashville. Why is the mayor so pissed off? Can somebody look up, is the mayor Democrat, liberal? Because a lot of times these things go on. I don't know. This just came to my mind. If somebody can look that up and let us know.
You talk about in Nashville?
Show. Yeah.
Yeah, he's a Democrat.
Okay.
There you go.
I guess I knew.
Yeah.
Why is the mayor so pissed off that the information was released?
Yeah.
Why? What's wrong with that information? When so many other things get released and mayors don't say anything, why get pissed about this?
Right.
It makes you wonder if this is something that's common that they're keeping from us.
It does make you wonder, doesn't it? And the whole thing reeks of stinkiness. You've got this Democrat mayor, you've got the school. Now, the school didn't want it released either. And I would think you would want it released to tell the truth.
Yes.
Why didn't the school lawyers said they didn't want it released, which is what made me dive deeper into finding out why not. They were doing social justice, the equality thing. And there's a lot of Christian schools. I'm not picking on the Presbyterians. You have to watch the Christian schools that you go to as well. My kids went to a Christian school for right now that was pushing BLM, not the Lutheran schools. But I briefly had them in a non-denom school, and they were doing social justice. There's Catholic schools in the city that do it. So you've got kids that go to school thinking they're going to hear about Jesus and love and religion.
You mean at a private Christian
any private
school?
Christian school. That's what I'm talking about. And instead of getting that, or in addition to, you're supposed to, God loves everyone. We know that to be true. And he wants you to follow them. But oh, poor little kid, you were born white. You really have to look inside yourself because you hate everyone. You probably hate yourself too, is what kids are internalizing when they're supposed to have white guilt. And they are the ones that is the dominating person, and you're treating everyone else as a victim. And you're already mentally ill. You create this very toxic situation. I am not saying that school in any way deserved for that to happen at all.
No,
not at all. But you're culpable if this is what your preaching to kids that your race.
Well, if there's a mixed message,
there's
and
a mixed
young
message.
Kid is all screwed
Correct.
up because of it.
Correct.
I could definitely see where you're coming from with that standpoint.
Correct. You got to be very careful. And if you're preaching the gospel, you don't preach social justice and critical race theory. They're not they're not congruent. They don't work.
Well, they're not Christian ideals.
They're not Christian ideals. They're not.
Despite commercials that you may see on TV that try to indoctrinate you with, he gets us.
Right.
He gets us. I'm sorry. When you look at what they say on those commercials, and they're big in the St. Louis area. I don't know if they're a national brand or not. I think that I did see one during the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
He gets us. And then,
did you ever really research them? They're really social justice.
Yeah, no, they are. I looked it up. Mm-hmm. It's bad.
Yeah, it is bad. And what do you mean he gets us? Okay, that's a foregone conclusion. He made us. Of course, he knows we are, but our job isn't for him to get us. Our job is for us to get him and live like him.
Yeah, no doubt about it. This whole manifesto thing coming out now, and then of course it being pulled. Why is it a big deal that it would be pulled from Let Her Show?
Isn't that interesting?
Why?
She clearly hated the school for whatever reason. I don't know why she hated it. I have no clue why she hated it. Was it the critical race theory, or was it the mixed message? Because some Christian schools don't think being a transgender is scriptural. So what if she got both of them?
Yeah, she had problems.
Yeah. I mean, the whole thing is tragic and sad. The worst of tragic and sad after the incident is that the school didn't even want it out. The mayor didn't even want it out.
I think it would be worth looking into past shootings to find out if maybe those were the result of critical race theory in those schools.
It would, wouldn't it? Yeah. And it has to do with Democrat ideals. For sure. And that's sad. And people, as we were saying this earlier, that parents these days and just people in general, it's not going to happen to me. I'm not worried about politics. My kids' school are teaching good things and it's no big deal. We've got a serious generation in crisis and a huge crisis right now.
Michelle says, by the way, you can all print that information off and mail us all copies so we can start showing it to these turds who don't believe us when we try telling them what the truth was regarding that shooting. They believe the news. And of course, there's a certain age of people who will still believe the news because that's how they have been conditioned. The good thing is if they don't change their ways, they already see it. It's dropping off. It's getting smaller and smaller each year because there's really no reason to watch when you're not getting the full story.
Yeah.
I'm just being honest, giving you the facts, not trying to be mean.
Yeah.
We just wish all the information was out there. And because there is this sentiment, and it's especially in media, it's like, oh, we don't want to rock the boat. Oh, no, that would be different than what we've done. Let's just collect our paycheck. Let's get to retirement. Let's just keep our job. If we keep our job, and we need to cut people because they make too much money. And then let's hire young people. We need an idea. We need something to happen, or let's try to because we can take their money away. We need it. Anyway, be careful, be smart about what you put in. Chris also says, there was someone on TikTok saying maybe this wouldn't have happened to their kids if the state didn't push the LGBTQI bills on everybody that they're currently doing around the country.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's so much stuff being pushed on our kids right now that unless you come from a solid family that communicates, these poor kids are so confused what they see on TikTok, what they see on TV, what they hear at their school, all of it. And even in some churches, and I don't know that all the churches I noticed were so woke until COVID. And then you realized, oh my gosh, how woke the church has gotten. So it has pushed people not to go to church right now because they don't even trust churches anymore. So you've got really a godless society. But you know what's bad about that, Vic? It's all been done by design.
Well, of course it has. It's to attack the American way, the American dream, our entire system, what made America what it was. I mean, unfortunately, as great as America's been too, there's also been some dirty things going on behind the scenes, as we've talked about with the CIA, the Department of Justice over the years, and what the CIA has done. So we have to be honest about that as well when we talk about how great this country is. Now, when we compare to other countries, yeah, you had a chance to come here and try to make the American dream, which had a lot to do with capitalism, and what you put in is what you get out. But that is not so much the case anymore.
Correct.
And that becomes a problem.
That is. It's sad, really. It's sad and a big problem.
And it frustrates me. We want to make sure that we're given all the information, and we're not trying to upset people. We just want to make sure that people are aware. You have to be aware. You can't be asleep of all the things that are going on around the country right now.
Well, and Chris says that shows the mentality of the left, blaming the stable parents and lawmakers instead of the monsters that commit the crime. It's sad. That is, it's an upside down world.
And this is a terrific point, because I agree with you, Glenn. Religion, faith, is the one thing that stops communism.
100%.
Because you look at communist Marxist societies, one of the first things they do is eliminate faith, eliminate God, eliminate a belief in a higher power, because once you lose that hope and faith, then you must rely on them, the government, and then you are stuck. And you ask anybody who's been in communism, as we've had those guests on the show, and we will have more. When you live in communism, they say that's what they see coming here over and over and over again. And it's interesting how you talk to somebody who's lived in a lifestyle like that compared to somebody who's lived in America their whole life.
Yeah.
And the differences, it'll blow your mind. Especially, I've had people say, I don't even know how you could even be or vote for a Democrat for the way that the party is in 2023 when you really want America to be this great country. They don't align, and they see it clear as day because they know communism, they know Marxism, and they're like, it's in America now. This is what it's becoming. And you guys are so jaded.
Yeah.
You don't even see it. It's about happiness, fun. Oh, I got to do this. I got to do that. And you don't even get it.
They don't get it. That's very sad. Very sad.
Everyone gets a prize, right?
Yeah.
That
comes a trophy and a prize.
Aaron says, because communism is a faith in itself.
Yes, it
is a faith in an all-powerful state.
Yes. Yes.
And it is interesting. So let me present all the evidence here. It wasn't all that long ago, Lizzie and Joe, and to our viewers and listeners, that this country was looking pretty damn good. It was 3 years ago.
Yep.
When a lot of things were starting to change. And it was when Donald Trump was in office. Like him, hate him, whatever. Don't like the way he talks, leads, whatever. Leaders can't worry about feelings. Leaders can't worry about making you feel uncomfortable. Leaders can't worry about everybody being on board, because nothing will ever get done. Leaders have to make calls. Leaders have to forge the path. Leaders have to take the arrows. Leaders have to take the bullets. Leaders have to take all of the crap that goes with it. And there's always going to be that enemy force. And if you believe in good and God, you believe in bad and evil. And you know that there will be forces trying to take you down. If you have a leader who makes everybody feel all fuzzy and warm inside, you may not have the right leader. If you have a leader you may not like, but you respect because they are busting their ass and pushing this country, and you look at the facts, then you've got another kind of situation. You may need to think again. I know people who spent their savings to build a wonderful business, then Biden ruined all of it for them. That coming from a listener and well. Robert says, unless you travel internationally and work with other countries, we are oblivious. And we are. And that's why I always say this, and I hope that I'm wrong, but I feel that America will suffer greatly because we don't see what it's like elsewhere. That you have to go through the hell to realize, oh my God, this is what our forefathers fought for. This is what the greatest generation fought for. I mean, in World War II, you had 18, 19, 20-year-old men like fighting each other to go support and back this country. Now you have people running from it. We don't want to go to the military. We got a fun, comfortable life here with our electronics and our video games and all of our fun stuff.
To be honest with you, why would you want to go in the military right now just to go overseas and go away from your family while there's a bunch of enemies just waiting to do something?
And I agree with you, Joe, because right now, a lot of our family is military, but I would tell my family now, do not go into the military right now. If you were already there under Trump, I get it. But if you're going in right now, Joe, that's what they're doing. They're sending our kids overseas. We've got a lot of issues here. They're sending our kids overseas. And who's the commander in chief? Biden?
But if you don't go into the military now, how are you then that's the other catch-22 about it.
It is. That's a rough situation because as a parent, you don't want your kid to go fighting wars that we shouldn't be in. No offense, we should not be in them. And then if we don't send them, who do you got in there? We got some weak-kneed people there right now.
Well, once again, it's what you just said. It's your leader. It's your president
it's all about
that you can trust in. But once again, if an election happens in your military and somebody else gets elected in or selected, then you've got massive issues and massive problems.
I mean, it all works really good. They could just cause inflation to where it causes poverty and causes people to really need money. Then
we have to. I'm encouraging people to go into the military. I'm sorry, I've got to.
Well, and I understand why you're doing that, but I'm saying,
and if my kids had any desire whatsoever, I would say absolutely, because this country is nothing without our military.
I agree with that. But then at the same time, I'm looking at the Freedom 13 flag and remembering what happened in Afghanistan.
But when you sign up, that could happen anywhere. You sign up knowing.
I feel like you're signing your kids up for the Holocaust.
I think
okay, so you're
sending them overseas so they can go into a killing machine.
But not everybody's going overseas. You guys are going like off the deep end with that. I totally get what you're saying. But so you're saying then we should have no military in this country?
I'm not saying that we shouldn't have any military. I think we should have something that secures our home before we start.
But then you have to go into the military.
But you know what we're
that's
saying?
The problem.
We're all right in this situation. We should have our.
If you don't go into the military, then
we're in big trouble.
We're in big trouble.
Yeah, we should have a military that's not going to get sent across seas to protect other people.
Well, okay, but then there you go.
Right.
That's what I just said. It gets back to the leader.
Correct.
And regardless of what happens, we've always, from the beginning of our military, had people across seas, though. That's the thing.
Well, and
we've always had people across seas.
Yeah, but do we really want our kids going across seas right now?
Most of the people on our chat line don't. They're with you, Joe.
Well, that's
not under Biden.
Well, that's what I'm saying. But here's the problem. If you don't, we're totally screwed.
We already are totally screwed right now.
That's the thing.
Damned if you do, damned if you don't.
Yes,
really.
That's the point.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and Jeannie said her son lined up. I'm guessing
signed up.
It says lined up, but I'm assuming signed up and did everything to hold him back. So I mean,
God bless him.
Yeah. I mean, we need to pray for our military because I agree with you, Vic, on the fact that we are only as good as the safety and the freedom in our country, our police officers, and people are going in it less and less all the time too. And that's something too, we're police officer kids. And yet right now I wouldn't want my kids to be a police officer, but yet if you don't have good people go in to be a police officer in the military, we're screwed. It's like we're damned if we do, damned if we don't.
It's the same thing.
Yeah.
It's the same thing with teachers as well.
That is the truth. That's the truth. I am a teacher by trade, and I would tell my family, don't be a teacher right now. So see, I mean, that's the same thing.
And from an anonymous source, it says, apparently right now, we're one step below full alert.
I've heard that when it comes to a draft.
Yeah, I've heard that we're one step away from a full alert for a draft, and we're one step away from being in very big trouble.
I could totally see a draft happening.
I could too.
And then it won't matter.
Yeah.
So there you go.
So, yep. And then that's what happens. And that's very sad. I remember back in Vietnam, I had relatives that got married so they didn't have to go over to Vietnam. I don't know if that would apply today. If you got married, would you not have to go over to the war? I don't know. That's interesting. And Terry, she's saying that she's a veteran and she loves our country, the old one she believed in, and she too sees both points and think we should support all those that join. But unfortunately, she's heard from friends and sons and daughters that they have so much woke training that it's horrible.
Well, see, and here's what I do. I go back to John Rourke, who we have on this show, who has given his life for this country and served this country, and not only served for 13 years in the Army, goes and cleans up the border and is doing everything he can, or at least he did, to try, and I repeat, try to recruit military members. So we're going to sit John down here. And John said, we need people in this country who are doing it the right way. So John will come in here and it's easy to say, I don't go to the military, bad man. And John will tell everybody, really? So you're going to tell me that the service that I did is not worth it? That because you got a bad leader, we can't send people and to protect our country? Do you realize what's happening because of our shrinking military? And that no matter if we have a large one or not, if a guy like Biden wants to send it, he's going to send it. And then guess what? If you don't go, they're going to draft you anyway. There's honor in serving this country. There is 100%. Honor in doing what you can. And it wouldn't be the first time we've had bad presidents trying to send our men and women there. Even the Army commercials that they run right now, or military commercials, show young people. And I've seen these recently. There's a young woman. She's a medic taking care of people in some foreign country. And you see the dad like fighting through like all of this war area to get to his daughter and says, honey, is this really what you want to do? Is this the way to help people? And she's like, Dad, yes, I've got this. I've got this, Dad. And then he pauses and then he says, okay, well, then I support you. I mean, they're even addressing the situations that it's not easy because they know that that's what they're getting from all of their research. There you go. We all want to be comfortable and happy, and I want my love, and I want my, but you know what? Take some freaking balls for people to go out and be leaders and to do what other people aren't willing to do, because in life there's a lot of soft people, and there's a lot of soft ass people in America. That's for sure.
Yeah. Our country is full of soft ass people. For sure. I mean, look at the quandary that we're in about this. Even the people in our chat line are in a quandary about this. They're agreeing with everything you're saying, Vic. They are. They're agreeing with everything.
Well, it doesn't matter. I mean, I appreciate that, but it doesn't matter if we agree with each other or not.
But that's what I'm saying. They're
this
agreeing
is
with
a
what
small
you're saying, but they do think it's a catch-22. They're agreeing.
Of course,
with
it's
Joe
a catch-22
too, because it's like everything you're saying is right, but it's their child, so they wouldn't want to send their child right now.
Yeah, no, that's natural.
It is now.
But I'm going to tell you something also. This country didn't become the United States of America by people saying, "I don't want my kids to go out and fight the British."
That's truth.
Or was also not designed for peace.
You sit back in your house. You're not going to accomplish anything by sitting home. Right. You just don't. Mm-hmm. That's the problem. The fact that we've sat back for so long and done nothing is why we have the problems in this country that we do.
Yeah.
In a lot of senses. Well, we don't want to rock the boat. We just want to sit in our house and drink our soda and eat popcorn and watch our Netflix and be happy.
But isn't a part of this, doesn't it feel like a roach motel? It's like they started all this. They started all this for a reason.
You mean the deep
state? Yeah. They started all this for a reason to develop, to get all our kids to go over there so they can just put them in this killing machine. So we're left vulnerable back here while they just kill our kids overseas.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of people feel that way as you too. I know I have a friend that his son was in Afghanistan and he's proud of him. He's very happy that he did it, but he would call it a roach motel too, by the fact that that's what happened. You sent them over there, killing our kids, leaving us vulnerable over here. I mean, he would agree with you on that. His kid was in Afghanistan. So, but yet in the same token, he would agree with Vic that he's so damn proud of his kid. But that's what it is. The deep state is so thick, and we actually think we're not a roach in their plan.
People were afraid when they went to fight the war in World War II as well. But you got over it because you knew if you didn't, you were going to be invaded. Mm-hmm. Now
we're already going to be invaded while they're over there.
It's different. But here's the thing, though. I understand what you're saying, but I think you're going way out. You're like driving 100 miles an hour to the right.
Maybe.
Yes, we have people across seas. That doesn't mean they're dying. Yes, the Afghanistan thing was horrible. But just because the amount of people who have died overseas since we've had our military is minute compared to the amount of people that have gone overseas. I mean, maybe you're talking about in the future. I don't know. I mean, because right now we don't have military men and women dying everywhere across the world.
Well, I have a feeling that this one's going to be very devastating.
I do too.
What's going to be devastating?
This war that's about to happen.
What's
World War III.
No, but what's the war? Where is it?
Well, it's here. I think we even have it here.
Now I can talk to you if I know what you're talking about. Yeah, it could be.
Yeah, I think the war's here.
Could be.
We're already.
But I think anything that happens overseas is going to be very devastating to our military.
Any war anywhere at any time is going to be devastating to any military in the world.
We left them a bunch of our equipment.
Yes.
They are fighting us with our equipment now. It's going to be ugly.
Not all of, now the equipment that we left wasn't a ton, but it was enough, and it's being used, and there's evidence in Israel right now. However, on a grand scale, when it comes to any war, every country that is in a quote World War III would suffer massive casualties.
Well, and even Biden said in the video,
every single country, home or away, if there is a quote true World War III. And then we have to decide, once again, this isn't just a one size fits all. What kind of war is it? How is it being fought?
Well, it's going to be, it's already being fought within. Part of this war isn't the same as the wars we've had before. Yes, it's going to be equipment. Biden even said if we leave equipment, overseas, it's going to be used.
And then he did it.
American citizens. And he did it.
That was in 2007 when he said that.
Yes. And we had that played the other day. We're in a war of weakness. We've talked about this on the show so much, breaking our kids down and making our society so soft, and then keeping the border open and letting all these people come in. We're already a sitting duck.
Correct.
Already.
We are a sitting duck because of what we did with the current president.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is this, and I compare this, we already know you have to have a military or you are going to be totally screwed. You have to have a military. You just have to. Talk to former Navy SEALs. Talk to lots of people who've protected this country. See what they think. If you're like, you shouldn't join or whatever, ask them. I'm just curious what the answers would be. I know one Green Beret, and I know John Rourke, who think you have to fight for this country no matter what you do, and you have to have brave people. This country didn't become what it was by being weak. It was by being strong and tough. But then again, at the same point in time, we know that people have infiltrated this country. Mm-hmm. We know the deep state is infiltrated. So do you just sit back and say, I'm going to sit in my home in St. Charles County, Missouri, and have my pop and my cannabis, and, I'm going to go to my sports games, and I'm going to watch my favorite football team? I mean, I don't know. There's a lot going on right now, and there's a lot of questions that can't be asked or answered.
Right. They can't be answered. And it's just, you can still have your,
it gets back to Joe Biden, because this is great. There were 24 attacks on U.S. bases in the Midwest during October. Aaron says, ask the guys on the Iraqi bases that have been attacked since October 7th, how it will be fought. One hand tied behind our backs. And that goes straight to the leader right now, or the man who's in charge, Barack Obama. I mean, Joe Biden.
Mm-hmm.
We all need to become patriots, not just veterans or those that serve, coming from the chat line as well.
Yes, and that's Terry, who we've had on the show. She came in here, and she's a former, actually, I believe she was in the Army, but she is a veteran, and we all need to be patriots, is what she's saying. We all need to fight for our country in whatever way that we see fit. And the biggest thing right now is to speak up and be aware of what's going on.
How did we get on the topic again? I can't remember.
Well, I think we got on the topic because we were just talking about the things about Nashville and schools, and then it led all the way into talking.
Well, keep in mind when we talk about wars, and it's interesting because I was reading some information yesterday. It's only a matter of time before China invades Taiwan.
Correct.
It's going to happen. As I like to say, anybody with half a brain knows that it's going to happen. The United States recently already approved 80 million in a contract for Taiwan to purchase military fighting jets. Why else are they doing that? It's because China is going to do something. I don't know how long China is going to wait. We have given tons of tax dollars to Ukraine for the war. By the way, that loan that goes to Taiwan, guess what? That's paid for with tax dollars. It's an $80 million loan to Taiwan to protect against themselves against China coming in. When China goes to Taiwan, what happens? What are we going to do? Mm-hmm. Do we send people there? Because we've already said publicly we will be. We'll be in China, or we'll be in the oceans over there.
That's what I'm trying to
fight
say.
With that.
All this is going to happen, and it's going to hit at once.
Yeah.
And we're just going to start sending people here and there and everywhere.
Because we became weak.
Well, that's exactly right.
But
3 years ago, we wouldn't even be
talking. So do you just give the rest of the world to communism?
I say we protect our homeland first.
But here's the problem.
First and foremost.
You protect but wars aren't fought like they used to be. If we protect our homeland and you just keep everybody here and communism takes over the entire world, you're effed.
Okay, so if we dilute the population, send them everywhere else while the ticks invade and infest.
It could happen. Yeah.
We don't have anything at that point.
It could happen as well.
Right. And that's the biggest fear that we're all talking about is there's going to be all these wars that are going on. Taiwan, China, Ukraine, Russia. And of course, we're talking about Hamas and Israel. And then the whole time our border is open and we're being infiltrated with people who hate us. So I understand.
So basically what we're saying today is there's no answer. We're fucked. That's what we're saying.
Kinda.
Okay, there you go.
I mean, that's kind of, no, I mean, but that's sad to say, but we kind of are. And they've done it on purpose. This is all by design.
If it's a duck, it's a duck.
Yeah. If it walks like a duck, it is a duck. And that's what's the problem is.
So, okay. Well, so then if that's what you're going to say, then how do we get upset with those people who say, I don't care. I'm just going to put my head in the sand and what's going to happen is going to happen. You can't get upset with those people if that's the attitude.
Yeah, you can't. You really can't because they're probably doing the smartest thing, to be honest with you. Enjoy the rest of it while it lasts until they start busting in your door.
Well, and that's why in my thing is that you have to have God and you better have guns in your home and you better be pro-life.
But we're not protecting here. That's the problem.
We're not protecting what?
See, we can say we need to protect America first, but we're not. Until we protect America first, it doesn't matter. We're not protecting America.
We're sitting ducks.
We haven't had a border in the last 3 years.
Right.
Exactly.
You're absolutely right.
30,000 a month.
Yeah.
30,000 illegals a month. And it's probably more than that.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
I mean, and that's what, our veteran Army person, Terry, says that she agrees with Joe that you have to protect here first, not give up on our border. The first thing we got to do.
But once again, we're not protecting here first.
Exactly.
That whole idea is already gone because they're within our country.
But then if you put your kid in the military and they send them elsewhere, that's not helping us here too. I mean, that is right. You are right. We are effed.
But here's the problem with that though. Once again, you're doing what Joe's doing. You're going way far right. Everybody that joins the military does not leave this country.
That's true.
There's a small amount
until there's wars.
Now, then we're talking about a whole nother situation. Now we're talking about, now we need to have all those facts. Well, okay, what do we actually have here? And then we address it from that standpoint.
This is a ridiculous conversation.
No,
think about it. No, but
it's a great conversation.
Well, it's ridiculous. I shouldn't say that. You're right. It's a great conversation.
It's ridiculous that we're having
that we even have to have it.
Right.
And I think most of us that knew when the election, in my opinion, was stolen. But at the end of the day, we just don't know because they didn't allow us to know because there were so many states that we never found out the true number. So, I mean, people didn't even understand at that point. I think all of our listeners didn't understand what a travesty that was to have our election stolen. It is a travesty to have had that happen.
That's because there is at least half the country that doesn't believe that happened.
You're right. They don't.
At least, if not more.
Correct.
And I think more of the country, if you surveyed them, right, including many Republicans will say, listen, it was just a bad thing. Trump lost.
Right. They really do. Or they just don't want to know. But in the reality, none of us really know the outcome of that election. No one has the proof of exactly what happened because we weren't allowed to see it. The numbers were skewed. There was mail-in ballots.
Which is a problem.
It really doesn't matter because the Electoral College anyway. Well, they would have voted the way that they were going to vote regardless.
That's all sad. That's all really, really sad. And it is a good conversation to have. And this exact conversation that we're having here is exactly what these people that put their head in their sand has got to wake up and have the same conversation. They have to say it.
Robert says it's war games. Here we go. Thermonuclear war. How about a game of tic-tac-toe?
Right. Literally. Literally. It is just so discouraging to think that
Wouldn't you rather know that you're fighting for something than sitting back like a sitting duck and just waiting for the inevitable?
I mean, if you're going to die, you might as well die going out with, something,
Well, and to your point, Vic, that is true. You have to go out fighting. So in theory, if you're not a parent, take out the fact that you worry about your kids. Every male, like other countries do, should go, and I'm saying men, I'm not saying women, and you can call me a feminist or whatever. Every male should then do 2 years in the military service. And maybe that would make some of these men that don't have any balls have some balls. I'm not saying women
I'm all for it. You should.
Yeah.
Like a quote. Somebody just put a quote on there, just like Israel does.
Mm-hmm. So there you go.
You have to start training your youth.
Correct. And women can go in if they choose to, and if they don't,
our youth are about reels.
Correct. Reels. I mean, that's why you have to make things so small, because the attention span now of our youth is of a gnat. They can't listen to a whole 2-hour podcast. They need a reel. And you know that to be true. And kids, I can see my own millennial kids, will like something, just a quick hit, and like TikTok. And I am not dissing any of those things, but that's the reality of what's happened to the world. People want a soundbite. They don't want to read a book anymore. They want a soundbite. And so, I mean, probably the solution to this problem, and I'm not saying it's ever going to happen, but the men need to go in our military for 2 years. There you go. And some people would say, well, why aren't women? Well, I'm not pro women being on the front line, to be honest with you, for various reasons, because we're not as strong. And there's other reasons that I'm not going to say on the air.
I'm for women going for 2 years too. They do in Israel. Why are women in Israel different than the women in America?
Well, because if you both go and you have a child, where does the child go?
Oh my God. I'm more worried, number one, about what does Israel do?
Well, Israel obviously is way smaller than we are too.
Doesn't matter. Whatever Israel does, I'm in for.
You are?
Yeah.
Okay.
2 years, because men and women both do it.
Yeah. Well, and like Terry is saying, she's agreeing with you that Israeli women kick ass. So yeah.
Gal Gadot.
Well,
Gal Gadot.
There you go.
Wonder Woman. I'm sure people know about her.
Yeah. And Pam, most of the people on there say men and women should both go.
Yeah.
Okay.
If they want to. Absolutely. Yeah. We have so many women that are helping our military forces right now.
Oh, for sure. Women are brilliantly smart.
Unfortunately, smarter than men in a lot of studies.
For sure. Well, and that's sure. I mean, a lot of women can go in.
These aren't my opinions. It just shows that women are, the same study said that women are smarter, but maybe more emotional because of certain things.
That's
true. Not me saying it. Don't attack the messenger. Those are just studies that I saw.
That is true. We're not physically as strong, but we can intellectually do things men can't do. And there's plenty of studies of that.
The part of that study was multitasking.
That's what I was going to say. Multitasking. We can do 27 things at
like Kelly Mano says, men make things a mess.
Yeah. Men can do one thing at a time. There's a few that can do a couple more things.
Well, let's sit around here. We'll see what we're going to do. Keep in mind, women are like whipping around. We already took care of that. It's been 5 minutes. We got 4 things done, and you're still sitting here looking at the problem.
Correct. There you go.
Glenn brings some stats up. Only 25% of military actually go to battle. 75% are support.
Well, that's very good. That's very good. I just don't want my kid to be in the 25% without Trump being in office.
Well, yeah, but we all want our cake and want to eat it too.
Yes, and that's that's why we're in the problem that we're in the United States, is we have too much cake and we don't fix the problem.
Robert put it together. That's kind of goes back to the men are from Mars, women are from Venus.
That is true.
Men and women just wired differently. End of story. Exclamation point.
And there too was by God's design, and that's a glorious thing. We shouldn't be exactly alike.
That sounds like a show.
That sounds a show.
Men and women, the difference. Bendy says, I follow Naval Base Facebook in Mayport, Florida, and see so many pics of kids saying goodbye to their moms headed to sea. Yes, it is sad.
Yeah, that's so
It's
sad.
the same thing with military members. It's the great sacrifice. That's why, unfortunately, there's only, you've got Memorial Day, you've got Labor Day, Veterans Day. It should be an entire year. I mean, with all due respect to Pride, they get an entire month. Our military doesn't, get a week?
Mm-hmm.
Think about that. You kids say goodbye to their parents each day who are first responders. You don't know.
I know.
In those kinds of professions.
True. And thank God for people like that. But on a lighter note, or maybe it's a heavier note, Donna asked, okay, say we have the draft and somebody's a transgender and their genitalia used to be female, now it's male, or vice versa, because they actually had the sex change. How do you handle that, Victor?
Well, how do you handle what again?
Okay, so say if they have the draft and you're a transgender, okay, so say today I am...
You're transgender. Have you had a surgery?
Yeah, and you had the surgery. So say, okay, that you used to be Victor. And
okay, I get where you're going with this, but aren't men and women both in the military? Like, it's not just a male thing anymore.
Yes, it is. But where do they go? Like, if you have to be drafted? A couple people on the chat line are asking.
I don't know. I'm not worried about a couple. The small percentage right now. Things are so complicated.
Oh my God. Everything is that's the point. Everything is so freaking complicated.
That might be a way to dodge the draft. I mean, the way the government's going, if you're considered trans, you don't have to.
You don't have to go. But if you do go, you'll get your surgery paid for by the government.
Right.
And once again, we didn't and weren't thinking about any of these possible scenarios just 3 years ago when Donald Trump was in office.
Exactly.
And there weren't wars around the world. And that's why Trump has said, I will take care of this fast upon coming here, because you have to have a leader who is not doing what everybody else is and signing that little world order in those dark rooms and everybody on board, because nothing in this world goes this fast to the bad unless there's a plan in place.
So let me paint a scenario for you.
What are we painting?
We got a couple of wars getting ready to break out, right?
Mm-hmm.
Our economy is shit. I forgot where I was going with that.
And then we had some of our equipment left over there.
Okay. Right.
So you had a scenario. So what's the scenario?
I'm sorry, it'll come back to me.
Okay, well, as soon as it comes back to you. See, now we got
it. Was a good one too.
It was so good you forgot it.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
What did he say?
I don't know what he said.
Joe, come on, man.
He had
I was on pins and needles.
Me too. I was like, okay, Joe, what's your scenario?
I'm looking at all the things that are adding up. You know what I mean? Like,
Joe says, let me paint a scenario for you.
Right. They've got us.
You said inflation is bad.
Inflation's bad. We've got the banks getting ready to collapse. What if all this happens all at once? Where's that going to leave us?
Well, that would be the idea. Then
exactly. That's exactly what's getting ready to happen. All this is going to hit us at once.
Well, I'm very concerned, and I know that some of our viewers, listeners agree, some don't. That's why I get concerned about money in the digital dollar. If the economy, boom, gone, just like that. What do you need? You have desperate people. You need something. And then all of a sudden, here comes the government stepping in with digital currency. Oh, we'll take care of you. We'll wire you. But now you're on our path.
And you have to join the military.
Mm-hmm.
Or you have to do whatever we're telling you to do.
Correct. And these are all scenarios that just 5 years ago, 3 years ago, we would have thought we would never have been here. And Joe comes in here, and not pro Joe, but Joe Biden comes in here and has just destroyed the country with.
They're going to use him as a fall guy.
They are.
He's the perfect fall guy.
And they did this all.
Dumber than a box of rocks. Illegal, compromised, greedy. Him, his family, his son, his wife. It's the perfect fall. Well, they did it.
They did it all exactly the way they wanted and made it look like it was all Joe who did it, when most smart people actually know he had an earpiece in, that Obama and Susan Rice and whoever else was talking in his ear, but he's going to be the fall guy.
How about this?
And they've known that he's had Alzheimer's and dementia from a long time ago.
Yeah, they've known it before he was elected.
Obama is slick.
Yeah, he is.
He is intelligent.
Yes, he is.
I'll just leave it right there. Glenn had something, and then all of this can happen right before the election.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, keep in mind, the election's still a year away.
Correct. And look how
while it's close, it's still a year. Look at all the things that have happened just in the last year.
Mm-hmm.
I'm telling you, 2024 is going to start off weird.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people who've been predicting that. It's all over TikTok. I've been watching those videos for 6 months, people predicting bad stuff in 2024 all over the place. Terry brings up an interesting point, too. I'm worried about our oil reserves, of course, because Biden depleted those, too.
Yeah, he did.
There's no way in hell one man could be so bad at everything unless it was planned and he is used as the fall guy. Literally giving stuff away, but Americans, liberal Democrats voted would not stop it.
Every box is checked.
Yeah.
If you want to destroy the country, there's a list, and he's checked every freaking box.
Everybody's going to Joe's to get stoned today and just forget about it all until they knock on our doors.
It'll be a happy time.
Until they knock on the doors and take away the weed.
Right.
Right. Oh,
just don't take the weed. You can have the guns. I'm kidding.
Oh my gosh, that's scary, Joe.
I'm kidding.
That's scary.
There is a plan. I mean, I know that it certainly adds up. I mean, we're just trying to bring fact to the table on all of these situations. Jim says Obama's overrated. He leans on old racist white dude source. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, we know Elon already said it 2 weeks ago. He said that Soros hates humanity.
Yes. But Obama is one of Soros's puppets. I mean, we know that for sure. There's absolutely no
Brendan,
doubt about
what
it.
a great point. We were told to look at the aliens and everything. It's like we forgot about the aliens already.
Yeah, already. The aliens are not thought about.
Yeah, of course. That's interesting. In 2009, Robin Williams predicted and imitated Sleepy Joe.
I remember that, actually.
I don't. I don't.
I'll see if I can find a clip.
Oh, if you do, that would be terrific.
Yeah, that's a good clip. That's a really good clip.
For the new year, we need to make a list of all the rotten politicians and throw it. Let it burn, baby.
Yeah, let it burn.
Yeah, I just...
Yes, and then Kevin says Obama, Soros are using Biden.
Soros is not going to run out of money.
Yeah, well, no, I don't think he will. And that they're using it to usher in the communist manifesto. And so here's the interesting thing. We already all know that, but it goes back to what we were saying earlier in the show. Most people don't. They don't care. You got the clip? All right.
So do you remember what this is? You can properly set it up. All I know is 2009 Robin Williams predicting Biden.
Yeah, he's just talking about Joe Biden.
Okay.
We still have comedy, though. We still have great comedy out there. There's always rambling Joe Biden. What the fuck? Joe says shit that even people with Tourette's go, no. No. What is going on? Joe is like her uncle who's on a new drug and hasn't got the dosage right. I'm proud to work with Barack America. He's not a superhero, you idiot. Come here. When FDR was on television, there was no TV back then. Come here, Joe. Sit down. But now.
That is so funny.
And that was 2009. And Biden's gotten worse than that.
Way worse. And he's been known to be a rambler for a long time. And, see, Robin Williams, I know that he had mental illness and all that, but people are saying after he said that is why he got offed.
I mean, you never know.
You don't. And back then, I would never.
Wow,
think about that now. Like back then, we just really thought he, committed the S word. He was unalived. But now, is he another Clinton / leftist off? I mean, we could make a list of all the people that got offed by things they said about them.
Or at least just died in weird ways.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Unalived. Unalived.
Gosh, I've said the F word and the S word. And
we hope we're back tomorrow.
Yeah. If so, it's all Vic's fault because he kept saying bad words. I didn't do it.
We all know this, but what are we doing about it? We all need to start growing some. I don't want to say the word and get Lizzie going, meaning Lizzie loves to say her favorite word. But Pam says we all need to grow some.
We do.
We all need to grow some
balls.
Okay.
Yeah, we all need to grow some balls. I mean, we really do. We all do. We need to raise our children that have balls, and we need to speak up. And when we see friends, how many of us do this?
Ark-incited.
Yes, I would love to know the people in the chat line, although I bet most of them do. But when a friend comes up to you and talks about, oh, Biden really isn't that bad, it's not a big deal, do we just blow it off and walk the other way because we know that person is just going to fight with us? Or do we stop?
Well, it depends on how the conversation started. Do they come up to you all of a sudden and just say that, or is something going on?
Well, either case, we should all ask, okay, what is one thing that he's done is good? They can't really say it. I mean, they can't say it. They can say, well, at least he doesn't mean tweet. Well, at least he's nice. But he isn't nice. He's not nice at all. And he raised really bad children. Well, at least one really bad kid. So, I mean, that's what we should do, is we should have balls and in every situation, speak up instead of just letting people get by with thinking Joe Biden is great or anything else for that matter.
Grow some
balls. Grow some balls. We should all leave and grow some balls. Balls. Right away now. That left Vic speechless.
No, I'm just trying to figure out where to go with it, because I do get frustrated. I know that we're not headed towards a good place.
No, we're
just not.
And the scary part is, if we all knew without a doubt, without a doubt, the next election wasn't going to be tampered with and Trump was coming back, we could weather the storm and know, okay, this is going to be great. But we don't know that. I mean, we don't even know. I mean, I know that, like, a lot of people are saying, that's just because you love Trump. Okay, I do, but I love because of what Trump did. And just case in point, somebody yesterday asked me, how come you guys are not fair and balanced on this show? I said, we're fair.
Who said that?
A listener private messaged me later on.
Tell them the message, call in, let's talk.
That's what I said. I said, we are fair. There is absolutely no doubt that we're fair. We will give a left person an opportunity to talk, a right person, somebody that we don't agree with. Heck, we even
get on here, prove us wrong.
Yeah, we want you to prove it wrong. Now, balanced.
I want to see through those eyes where there's no immediate danger and we're all just going to be fine. I want to see through those eyes. Please come in here. Let me see through your eyes.
Yes, we do. I mean, it's like we're begging people to come in here if we're not fair and balanced. We are fair. We're probably the most fair show. Balanced, maybe not, because we see clearly that the left is so far gone that our balance is more to the right. But it's not even because it's political. It's because we see what's right and wrong. And so, Trump, you can't tell me, other than he mean tweets or he's just not a nice person. I don't care. I really don't care. And just like a doctor, I don't care if my doctor has a good bedside manner. I want him to save my life. The same thing with Donald Trump. I don't care if he has got good bedside manner. I want him to save my country.
We've got an issue with the whole situation regarding candidates.
We do.
Do we feel, what if Michelle Michael were to run? Hypothetical.
I think that person is the only one that can really give Trump a run for their money. I don't think Newsom. I think Trump annihilates him.
I've been saying it for months.
Yeah, you have.
That's going to be the person that's going to go.
I said it about a year ago.
Yeah.
I agree. I mean, I was like, oh my God, it's the only person that I could see that could replace him.
Correct.
With ease.
Correct. Because whether we like it or not, it was almost like the same people they say about Trump that, this is just
media just put she on a pedestal.
Right. And the fact that is a she is that's a good thing now. Not
and
a bad
all
thing.
You have to do is be a speech giver be able to speak to be president. Mm-hmm. You don't have to have any intelligence. You don't.
In Joe
because
Biden's case, you don't.
Yeah, the things are done behind the scenes.
Correct.
You just have to be able to go out and look the part and give a speech here or there, have some pizzazz, be able to do whatever it is for that certain person, smile for the camera. Mm-hmm. I mean, a TV anchor could go be president.
Apparently, you just need to be able to breathe and sniff kids.
Well, the bar has been set so low that whatever comes in after Joe Biden is going to look amazing.
Right. She could not have won against Trump in 2016 because people were sick of 8 years of the Obama's bull. But now, exactly to your point, we've sat here with Biden that I think more so now than ever, Michael has a chance because they at least look back at the Obama years and think, well, at least it was better than this. And she's just so nice. He's just so nice. That's what many people think because that was a long time ago. There's a whole group of other people that think now, and people have gotten softer. They're going to think that she's just fine to vote for. And I think it's going to be the same thing, but not as obvious. So if Michelle Obama gets in, the country is going to run exactly how it is with Biden, but just not as obvious blunders. Because they were sneaky. The Obamas were really sneaky those 8 years.
Dare I insert who might be the Antichrist? Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was going to say, if she gets in there, I mean, that's it. We have
no country ever again.
We're literally just dictatorship.
That's
correct. We're doomed.
That's a fourth term.
Yep.
For Barack Obama.
We might as well just put the shackles on ourselves.
Correct. Correct. Because they are a dictator. Mm-hmm. And they are racist. They don't like white people. So white people, you're going to have a life that you have never seen before. When
Michelle says we done.
Yeah, we're done.
I just find it interesting. And of course, when I find people that say things that I've said, I tend to go to that. That's human nature. Mm-hmm. That Ted Cruz has been beating this Michelle drum for quite some time. Mm-hmm. I mean, this isn't the first time he said it either.
No, a lot of people have been saying it where we can pretend it's going to be somebody else. And Gavin Newsom, I think he really wants to run, but I think it's almost like because he wants to debate and keeps debating, sanctimonious, Ron Sanctimonious or D Sanctimonious. So they're the second choices. It's going to be Obama and Trump.
So you are going on to this now. You're believing in the Michelle deal.
Yeah.
Okay.
I totally do. I totally
I never knew if you really felt like if you really pushed.
I totally think it could be Newsom, but I don't think so. I think Newsom is in the same camp as Ron DeSantis.
I think Eric was the one that was skeptical about Michelle going
Yes.
up.
Yes, because
correct.
he thought it was going to be Newsom, and we don't know. That's the sad part. We're not really sure, but I definitely see that happening. So here's the deal. If they some way don't let him win the primary and we've got DeSantis or Vivek or whoever, they may or may not run Michelle then. They may run Newsom is what I think. So if it's the second choice people, I think they could run Newsom. But if Trump somehow does get the nominee, which he'll blow it in a landslide, except for the fact they have him arrested or they cheat or whatever. Definitely against Trump, they're going to run Michael Michelle. That's who they're going to run. That's my prediction.
I'm glad that you're backing me up.
I think that's the case because Newsom is really a no-brainer unless he goes. I think Newsom and DeSantis, who knows what could happen there? I don't know.
So when is the decision going to come for Joe Biden?
I think when he falls down the airplane steps again and bumps his head and doesn't come to, whenever they decide for him to do that. Literally, I think he'll have a fall. I do because I think.
And then Hunter is vindicated somehow, somewhere.
Correct. Yes, that's my prediction. He has a fall.
Or Michelle on a ticket with Gavin Newsom.
Michelle wins in a landslide.
No, on a ticket.
Oh, on a ticket with Newsom is about. Oh, I could see that. Or yes, either case. Yeah, that makes sense to me. I don't like it, but it makes sense.
And then, of course, we're left wondering all these other questions. Will there be a fair election? We have so many illegals in this country. What kind of mail-in balloting is going to take place? I mean, there's literally, and I found this interesting, Mike Johnson, new House Speaker.
I love him.
Even brought up all the illegals in New York. This was so interesting. He was teaching, was it Nadler? about Nadler didn't even know the rules of his own state in New York. No. I mean, just listen to this.
Mr. Chairman, it's late. It's almost 10 o'clock. I don't know. I think we've been at this for about 10 hours, and it's been a long day. We had a 22-vote series. Not complaining, just explaining why we're all a little bit haggard. But I tell you what, it's the issue that's really got us worn out. And I just genuinely wanted to ask a question of my colleagues here, because both of you are here in good faith, and I respect you as individuals. And I want to ask you a question, what my constituents asked me. Could the Democrats in charge, and certainly Democrats here with jurisdiction over the border, could they really be in favor of an open border? And I'm asking you honestly and in good faith. Can I ask, Mr. Chairman, you're from New York. Thanks to New York City's council, beginning January 9th, 2023, more than 800,000 non-citizens will be eligible to vote in municipal elections in New York. Do you agree with that policy?
No, non-citizens will not be eligible to vote in New York. They never have been. Well, they were in the 19th century eligible to vote in New York.
Well, no, this is a recent action. It was just passed in December.
No, that is not correct. Non-citizens have not been eligible to vote in New York, or as far as I know, in any other state since the 19th century.
That's not true. The New York City Council voted in December to allow this. It begins January 9, 2023. Cities in Vermont and Maryland already allow this, and similar measures are under consideration in Illinois, Maine, and Massachusetts right now.
If the gentleman will yield?
Yes.
I believe those are...
He didn't even know.
He didn't have no idea.
Jerry Nadler, politician, lawyer, U.S. representative from New York, didn't even know.
No.
So I bring all that up. Just ask once again, is it going to be a selected situation, or is it going to be where you have all these people voting with mail-in ballots as well? Another problem that's happening with America right now. Mike Johnson trying to bring a little light to it. And of course, Jerry Nadler knew he got caught.
Yes.
So you play dumb. You get caught. You continue. You don't go, oh, I didn't know that in public.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they're not going to. I mean, what a dumbass.
Yeah, he is totally
a total dumbass. But then once again, I hate to say it, but look at New York and the citizens that elect them. What does it say about people who elect these liberal leaders? And I'm not trying to be mean. I'm asking questions. What does it say about you that went check marked him or pressed the button for a Jerry Nadler type of person?
Yeah.
Once again, it's the pride issue. People don't care. Well, I'm a Democrat or I'm a Republican. Get to know the candidates.
Yeah.
Really? Or unless that's what you want. You want illegals.
Right.
I hope New York's waking up, but I don't know, with all the immigration and illegals that have come to their state and their city, but I'm not so sure.
Right. And the whole illegal thing for a while is the guilt again. Oh, my goodness. They have an awful life. And so they need to come over here for a better life. They guilted a lot of people. And now even the people that are guilted are like, oh, my gosh, close the damn border because we have no place to go. And we've talked about this before on the show. Look at the apartments going up everywhere. That's where they're going to put them. Most of these apartments are empty, but they're going to go there. They're going to be shipped from New York. And they're going to be shipped to the Midwest and to southern states. That's where they're going to go.
One other thing I did want to get into today before we get out of here, and does it mean anything or not? Iowa's a key battleground state, as we know, in the Republican primary. The Iowa governor, Kim Reynolds, she endorsed Ron DeSantis for president. And then and I don't know a lot about her background, but then she went out, and not only did she do it, she tried to take a swipe at Trump, saying that she doesn't think he can win in 2024.
That is so dumb to take.
Is this going to hurt her in any way? Because I think she's fairly popular there.
Maybe not, because I get why, if you live in Florida, I get why you would back, your governor. I totally get that. And he was a damn good governor. I mean, I would never take that away. He was the best governor during the shutdown, for sure. But then you don't need to take a swipe at the president that was the best president of our lifetime. So I don't get that. Just
she's literally saying that this country can't get back right with Donald Trump.
Well,
this is the governor of Iowa saying this.
Wow, that's crazy. Oh, of Iowa. Okay.
No, you were missing it.
I was missing it. I was completely missing the boat there. But yeah, I don't get that then at all. That makes no sense to me. But if she likes Ron DeSantis, fine.
Yeah, that's what my point was. It's like, what is the connection with those two?
Yeah, there has to be some sort of a connection. And I'm not saying if Trump couldn't do it, my second choice would be Ron DeSantis for seeing how well he was down in Florida. Now, some people say, oh, okay, well, he's compromised with this or that. I think all the rest of them are compromised in some way. Everybody but Donald Trump is compromised. So you have to pick someone that's the least compromised. And Ron definitely ran Florida very, very well. No doubt about it. But what's the connection there? Because she didn't need to take a swipe at Trump. There was
because in this day and age, you can't, because he is such a distant, like crushed second place.
Yeah.
That you have to try to tear down number one in some way.
Correct. And I had heard the other day, some politician, and forgive me, I can't remember who it was calling Donald Trump.
Oh, no wonder. If Glenn says she's on the short list for DeSantis VP, if he,
oh well, there you go. There you go.
I knew something had to be
makes
up.
Sense, then
that would make sense.
Yeah, that makes sense. Total sense.
But then somebody says stating an opinion is not necessarily a swipe. Here's, I don't know. I think saying that the only way this country.
Well, she did take a swipe because you had said that she said that there's no way our country can get back in good working order with Donald Trump.
Yes.
Really? That makes no sense. That's like, I've heard some politicians.
Well, she brought up Trump, said when Trump's administration let Fauci lead their response, Ron didn't. He had the courage to say not.
And I agree with that point. I do agree with that point.
That's a swipe.
Yeah. And I do agree with that point. I don't disagree with her there. I thought Ron DeSantis did the best job of any politician during COVID. However, you're damned with, nobody knew what was coming over here. They didn't know what it was. And so most of us that are probably on the chat line, we did not fall for any of that, but the majority of the country did. I was shocked at how many people fell for that. And Ron DeSantis did a great job keeping that state open. I mean, he really did. But in the same token, Trump did not, close the country. He gave people choice. He put it back to the states, and then our governors made the choices. So, I mean, what else would you do? I don't know if Ron DeSantis would do that as president or not. I mean, it'll
be interesting when he loses Iowa.
Right.
That governor.
Yep.
Be like, okay, the governor, and she's entitled to back who she wants. But obviously it may show why she was doing what she was doing to get ahead.
Correct. She's just doing it, now that you said that, she's just doing it because she was DeSantis's VP choice.
Allegedly on a short list.
On a short list.
Allegedly. So I don't know. It would be interesting to see where that goes. I just find I just love to see when you have these politicians that will go out and say things.
Yeah. Well, we're going to have to keep a close eye on Iowa.
Oh yeah, we will. Of course we will.
Mm-hmm.
Who do you think's the most most annoying U.S. politicians currently in office? It is a poll that was put together here.
Mitch McConnell. He's annoying.
Let me keep a track of the list.
Yeah, Mitch McConnell. And the reason why I say Mitch McConnell is we already know the Democrats like Chuck Schumer.
Mitch is number 2 on the list.
Yeah, I would say he is the most annoying.
I thought you were going to get number 1 out of the gate, but you didn't.
Well, the reason why I say that, I don't like Chuck Schumer. I don't like Fetterman. There's a whole bunch that I could say, but Mitch McConnell is a traitor to the Republican Party and to conservatives.
I'd like to take a guess.
Please do.
So you took Mitch McConnell. Mitch McConnell was number 2 on the list.
Who do you say, Joe?
I'm going to say Camilla.
Oh, well, let me go down here and find her really quick. I'm going to go, the first one that they have on the list, I cannot believe. I'm waiting. Who do you think's the first picture? You guys should have told me this already.
Is it Chuck Schumer?
No.
Okay. He's very annoying.
I forget.
No, you guys haven't even put who I would have said number 1. I would have gotten this.
Okay.
The most annoying politician.
Who?
Okay. If I give the voice, you guys are going to get it.
Okay. Give the voice.
Oh my God. You should totally.
AOC?
Yes.
Yes, you're right. She does take the cake. Yeah. She does. She takes the cake for sure. For sure.
I love Aaron flying Trump. I love you, dude.
And I love Aaron, but he's so off base for that at all. I could see where he's, some people's voice might think
AOC was number one.
Yeah,
number two,
AOC.
Oh, I don't know where we're gonna go today. I'm Glitch McConnell and
Glitch McConnell, as Anthony calls him. Glitch McConnell.
Mitch was. I see him. Number two. I'm gonna go smoke some weed with Joe today and Vic and Robert 66.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny.
Number three, you guys should get this one. I haven't even heard the name yet. I have not seen it on the. You guys haven't seen.
Oh, what's her name? She's one of the. Is she a squad member?
Let me see. Let me look on here. If anybody put this person on. Oh, one person put this person's name on our list on the chat line.
Well, it would have to be Biden.
Number three. No,
not Biden.
No.
Is it? Who is that one? Talib, whatever her name is, Talib.
I just think you guys should just, leave me alone. I'm trying to. It's hard to do. It's a female.
Oh, Nancy Pelosi.
There you go.
Duh.
Did I sound anything like her?
Yeah, you did.
Okay.
You did. But you still had your teeth in your mouth. Your teeth needed.
Well, it's all over.
You need your teeth to go down a little bit.
It's like
she was.
Yeah. I don't know.
That was good. Yeah, you got to tighten your face like this, and then your teeth got to go out.
I didn't sound drunk enough.
You did.
I don't know.
You got to slur your words.
Oh, the fourth one's a Republican. Here we go.
Okay.
Name mentioned on the show today.
The fourth one?
Yes.
Oh.
This was a poll that they just put out general. It wasn't to just Republicans or Democrats or independents. Number 4. Okay. So I said this person's name was on the show. This is a man.
Ted Cruz?
Ding, 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 ding.
Just because yes, when he was running against Trump,
he was annoying as hell.
He was so annoying. He looked like Eddie Munster.
Number 1 to me should have been Chris Christie.
Oh yeah.
Okay,
For
okay, we'll get number 5. Female.
Talita Rashid?
No, but her best friend, Ilhan Omar.
Oh yeah, okay. I knew it had to be a squad member. They are annoying.
Oh yeah, they are.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, number 6, a male Democrat.
A male Democrat. Schiff? Schiffy Schiff?
No, but kind of in that neck of the woods.
Who else? Nadler? Somebody said poop your pants, Nadler.
No. Okay, I don't want dead air. Joe, any guesses? Number 6.
None here, man.
Okay.
Not in there, man. Who is it?
He's a bad man. He's not a good guy. Chuck Schumer.
Oh, yeah. You know, I had never told you the truck. You got to hear this. Okay, so when we went to the inauguration.
And I can't wait to tell you 7.
Okay, we were at the inauguration. I got to tell you about Chuck Schumer. I really didn't pay that much attention to Chuck Schumer until the inauguration. And then there's the big mall lawn area. And all of a sudden we heard this guy that was talking, and I can't do Chuck Schumer that good, but he was mean. He was caught on a hot mic. Yeah.
He
was caught on a hot mic, and he was abusing his staffers right out there. It was 2 days before the inauguration, and he was reading his speech. And I was shocked at how mean his speech was. I thought he was going to have some decorum. He has 0 decorum.
Number 7 is a female Republican.
Marjorie Taylor Greene.
You're very good at this game. Do you have the list in front of you?
No, I don't.
That was very good, Lizzie. Marjorie Taylor Greene, and I get it. Although she's been more quiet.
Yeah.
And
a lot of people, I like what she stands for almost all the time, but she comes across as annoying. I don't think she's annoying, but I know a lot of people.
Number 8, warmonger.
Oh, Lindsey Graham.
You got it. Lindsey, of course. Next up, 9th. Oh, wait a second. Number 1 was Mitch McConnell.
Oh, well, that makes sense.
You got so 1, 9, because you now know if she wasn't not number 1, she's 9. AOC.
Yeah.
She comes in at 9. That was just her face was on the article.
Yeah.
Interesting. Number 10, Rand Paul.
See, I don't find him annoying at all.
Neither do I. But to liberals, they may because of Fauci. If you love Fauci, you hate Rand Paul.
Yes.
Oh.
Who are you saying now?
I gotta. Oh, this is just. I gotta get a picture. I'm gonna change 11 because I want to show. We gotta show her picture.
Okay. If you're having to show the picture, she must have a frown. Can I say it or not?
Go ahead.
She has the frowny face, and people had said it earlier. It has to be Maxine Waters.
Maxine Waters.
You could go to the streets and beat up all the conservatives.
Oh, I lost my list. Hold on. Oh, what did I do with my list? Okay, Maxine Waters was number 11.
She's obnoxious.
Just to get through it all here, just to see who made the list. Josh Hawley, number 12.
I don't see that at all.
He's annoying to liberals.
Correct. But I mean,
13, Debbie Wasserman Schultz.
Yeah.
She's a vocal critic of Trump, supporter of all. She's a Florida representative. Very, very, very liberal. Elizabeth Warren, number 14.
Some years ago, we would definitely have said her earlier.
McCarthy came in at number 15. Yeah. Schiff at 16.
Schiff should be higher on
Bernie Sanders, I'm surprised he even is still on because he has been very quiet. 17.
Yeah, I'm surprised by that too.
Cory Booker, 18, Democrat. I've never even heard of Paul Gosar, number 19. Arizona representative, controversial stances and past criticisms. I didn't even know him. 20, Rashida Tlaib. She should be a top 3.
Way up there. Yes.
No doubt about it.
Way up there.
Cammie, 21. Marco Rubio, 22. I found that interesting.
That is interesting because he is, if you listen to him very long, he is very annoying. I like a lot of the things he stands for, but he is annoying.
23 is a picture of a guy. I don't even know who he is. What? Oh, no. Yeah, it was 21. So we moved through it already. So we got through that whole list. So there you go. Hopefully it was somewhat entertaining.
And yes, Mitch McConnell had to be number 1 because he is, of course, Democrats wouldn't like him. Of course. But as a Republican, he is the biggest traitor ever.
Yep. Kevin called her Vaccine Waters.
Yeah, Vaccine Waters.
Yeah. So anyway, and Cori Bush was not even on the list. Every squad member should have been on the damn list.
Yes. Cori Bush, to a lot of people, though, they haven't really started hearing her until lately. So this might have been
that's
several years. We all know she's annoying.
Did we hit everything? Joe, did we play all the videos and things that I sent you at all? Or
we still got a couple.
What did I send you that?
We got a Trump video from looks like 1995.
You know what? Let's end the show. Let's end the show on this today. And by the way, like Trump. Video. Don't like Trump. This is very interesting of Donald Trump talking about politics from the 90s on if you run, what could happen and what he thought he'd be able to do when it came to success. We'll end the show on this and then come back and close it because this really shows you what this country is.
You know, there's a certain dishonesty, unfortunately, that you need for running for office. Now, it's an unfortunate thing, but you would know this perhaps better than anybody in the world, right?
I've coached a few.
I'm a pretty straight guy, and I'm not sure that somebody that really calls it like it is and says this is what you have to do, I'm not sure that kind of a guy gets elected. Maybe so, maybe not. Everybody wants me to do it. They all want me to run. But I would take a much harder stand. I'd take a much more difficult stand, I would say. Make a couple of enemies. I think I'd make a lot of friends, ultimately. But I'm not sure that type of person is really electable.
Wow, that says all of it, doesn't it?
How about the campaign strategist laughing? You know, I've coached a few. It's
like
it's funny. Of course we lie. You can't be in that sums up why Donald Trump has so many enemies in America in political circles because he is the true outsider. He has not needed anybody's money. He attained everything he needed in life. He said, I'm not going to sit back. I'm not going to be bought and paid for. I'm going to be my own man. I'm not going to listen to you. I don't care about your feelings. And then there you go.
There you go.
It just, and that's why all of these African Americans were his best friends. He was given so much money, but as soon as he put an R next to his name, then he became enemy of the state in so many areas.
Correct. And he didn't want to have a coach. He was
a Democrat at one point in time.
Correct.
And he's talked about being a Democrat from more social standpoints when he first started. Anyway, we hope you guys enjoyed the show. Thank you for being such a big part of it. We look forward to catching up with you on our next podcast. So a lot of the material gets tough. It gets sad to think about, but try to have a great day. Make the most of the lives that you have.
Yep. Have a great day, everybody.
For Pro Joe and Lizzie Sparks, I'm Vic Faust. We will see you next time on canceltheshow.com.